Hello everyone, welcome again to my channel. Today I'm not feeling the video thing, so I'm just going to record my voice and kind of just make an audio file for today's vlog. Sometimes I'm not feeling very camera ready, and sometimes it's easier for me to just speak without showing my face. So I'll probably put a picture up for the video or something nice for you to look at. But I have some thoughts. I've been writing down a lot in my journal of things to talk about in my vlogs, and I write them down and then I'm like, nah, is that going to be interesting enough? I don't know. I'll just save it for later. Well, today I feel compelled to talk about what's on my mind really strongly. So I did not write it down first. I'm just going to go for it. So I just got back from therapy, my art therapy, which I love. This therapist that I go to is amazing. I mean, counseling is hard. It's really hard to find someone to really help you and dig deep through those layers in your psyche and to help you heal of whatever traumas you've gone through or whatever you're going through in your psyche, in your life, in your soul, in your mind. It's hard to find someone that can help you truly. And after all these years, I finally found someone, and she is amazing. And I have been healing so much and going through so many layers, deep layers that I never even knew I had. Since childhood. I mean, there's just so many things, and it's very painful. It hurts, but it's not all bad. There's beautiful moments where I'm just like, aha, I'm finally breathing. I'm finally understanding this. I'm finally able to do whatever. I'm learning social skills. I'm learning interpersonal skills. I'm learning why I never learned them before. There are so many different types of trauma and ways that you can become traumatized, and so many different ways that can affect you deeply, on a deep level. And when you get to your adult life, you may be floundering. You don't know what's going on. Maybe you know some surface things, like, I don't know, you try getting counseling, you try eating healthier, you try going to church or getting in touch with your spiritual side. And those are all great things. Those are all first steps. But the human psyche is so complex. And that's what I'm learning in therapy, in art therapy. And you don't know how much you don't know. And I feel very blessed. I feel very blessed that God is opening up my heart and my mind and my eyes and showing me how much He has really, He's put people in my path to show me the way, and He's opening my eyes to that. I say God because I personally believe in God. I'm Catholic, but the universe, Goddess, He, she, whoever you believe in or whatever you believe in, that's what I'm talking about right now. Just that spiritual, powerful force that you open up to, that guides you. Even when you're not paying attention, that force is there. Even when you don't know, that force is there. And it's just amazing what's been happening for me in the past 6 months that I've been seeing this art therapist. And I've been praying a lot more too, and meditating, and just getting in touch with my soul, the deeper parts of myself. Being a quiet, introverted person, I know how to be in touch with myself, because that's what we quiet people do. We sit around thinking all day, reading and thinking and getting to know our own thoughts, which can be unhealthy, but I'm learning to sit quietly with myself in a healthy way. And in that process, I'm learning interpersonal skills and how to connect with other people, and what's more importantly, to show that I'm making a connection with these people. Because you can consider someone your best friend, and they may not know because you don't have those social skills or the interpersonal skills to show them that, hey, I'm your friend, I like you, I like your company, I like hanging out with you, or whatever. And so there's just so much I'm gaining and learning from this whole experience. And whether I have autism or not is irrelevant. I think I've touched on this in some of my other vlogs. The symptoms I have from childhood trauma or whatever is very, very closely related to symptoms of autism. They're practically the same. I'm not trying to say autism is caused by anything, because that's a very unpopular opinion. Autism is a part of who someone is. It's just an alternate brain wiring. And so people are born with that, and it's not a disease. It's not a problem. I fully embrace the neurodiversity paradigm. However, there are other situations that one can go through in life in their childhood trauma that definitely cause you to withdraw inward, and the symptoms can show up exactly like autism. If you've met one person with autism, I know I say this every time, you've met one person with autism, and while the symptoms may vary from individual, they're still relatively related or coming from the same place. So, no matter why you are withdrawn into yourself and why you show signs of being withdrawn into yourself, whether you were born that way or you've had a lot of trauma in your life, our brains are so complex, and they can wire themselves to handle or adapt to any situation that it needs to. We can develop new neural pathways to develop with things in a healthy way, a healthier way. And I'm speaking for people with mental illness, not people born with autism, people who are born autistic, which is a natural, normal brain wiring. I'm just talking about mental health in general. We can develop different neural pathways to gain better coping mechanisms. And that's what I'm learning in therapy. And I'm not doing the explanation of any of this any kind of justice, but I'm trying my very, very best. You can, from childhood, our brains wire themselves to adapt and to survive and to think of things in certain ways and to do things in certain ways. And if trauma happens, any kind of trauma, big or small, your brain will wire itself the way it needs to protect you. And that's how different parts develop. And I'm not going to get into an explanation of DID, dissociative identity disorder, but everybody develops parts, especially if you go through traumas. Parts of yourself will adapt. Your brain shuts off parts of itself and kind of encloses those painful memories so that you don't have access to it, and then it just branches off like a tree into these different parts. Meanwhile, that painful thing that you don't have conscious access to is still there. But anyway, I'm learning through art therapy that there are techniques and tools you can use to change your thinking and to change the way your brain is wired for the positive, for the better. And again, I'm talking about mental illness and not inherent autism or neurodivergence. Because neurodivergence is, again, a natural, normal part of human brain wiring. It's just different than the normal, accepted, status quo. I'm just learning how much trauma I actually had throughout my life and just peeling back the layers of what that did to me. The deep, deep layers of it all. And it's painful and amazing all at the same time. So I'm learning all this different skills or not that I learned to survive. I didn't learn social skills. I didn't learn interpersonal skills because that part of me that was protecting me, saying, human, people, danger, danger, avoid all contact with people, was very prevalent within me. I'd say between 14 and 35 years of age. That time period where you're starting to branch out and figure out who you want to hang out with and make friends and make connections outside of your parents helping you make friends, you know what I mean? Like, it's that whole time period where you're just really coming into yourself and making connections with people. That didn't happen for me. I missed out on all of it because I was so busy living in survival mode. I was in high emergency 911 mayday mayday survival mode since the beginning of my childhood. Complete survival mode. And I'm not saying all this to throw a pity party for myself or to get attention. I'm super not. I'm super over it. I want to share this with you guys so you can, if anybody out there can relate, know that, there's reasons for things that happen to us. There's reasons why we have layers and why we have difficulty. Especially in our adult life, there's so many layers and so many different ways that our brains know how to deal with it, to protect us and to help us cope. That, when you learn to peel back those layers is when healing begins. It's when the healing truly begins. Is when you learn what those layers are, that they exist, and how to peel them back and really just examine them. Thinking of my young adult and teenage time period in my life, it's just so much emptiness and so much pain there. So much that I missed out on. Parties, breaking rules, getting in trouble, making friends I hate, making friends I love, just all these things. And especially in my 20s, when I saw my twin brother going off and, having a normal social life and, just instantly making all these friends and super confused as to why I was so lonely and had no idea what to do with myself, which way was up, which way was down. And I knew nothing as far as the social world goes. Nothing. Social skills that come so natural to everybody else did not come natural to me. And again, that's the avoidance I learned from the trauma. I learned to completely avoid people. My brain wired itself so that I don't know anything else. I couldn't learn how to relate to people or make friends or make those interpersonal connections. So that's what happened. I missed out on the fun part of, young adulthood and teenagerhood because I was surviving. And again, I know this is going to be painful for some. I know people might see this vlog or hear this vlog that for whom this might be painful for, but I'm being truly honest and raw to myself and others because I think it's very important not to make anybody feel bad or to make anybody feel bad for me or any kind of bad. No, that's not my point. My point is that healing is possible. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of thought. It can be painful, but it's also very wonderful to finally feel free and to understand yourself and to move on and learn social skills and interpersonal skills. So I really want to reach out to people who are painfully shy, have social anxiety disorder, and have experienced the rejection of not being able to connect with people or not having people come into your world and connect with you. Human connection is so important. And as I've said in other blogs, there are so many ways to connect with people. Unfortunately, our society places the most importance on using verbal, physical words. And there are so many other ways, diverse ways of connecting with people and interacting on a soul level. It's okay to talk, it's okay to use words, it's okay to interact that way, but it's not the only way. And I just want to show that to the whole world, that there's so many different ways to create that camaraderie between people. It's a two-way street, you know. We need to heal, and we need to learn each other's language and how to learn to communicate with each other. But try coming into the other person's world and seeing how they function and how they tick, you know, what makes them tick. We got to try to learn to understand each other and understand ourselves, because that's where the healing happens. You can only ever heal yourself. You can only ever deal with your own demons. And it's work. It's a process. But if you believe in your higher power, keep in touch with your higher power, whatever that may be for you. I'm not judgy. I say God for me. For myself, I say God. But whatever you may believe or may not believe, tap into that source. Because everyone has that source that's part of them. You may call it healing light, divine source, God, goddess, the great spirit, whomever, you know, the light from your crown chakra, anything, whatever you call that source of your ultimate higher being. Keep in touch with that source. It's really helpful. And just keep trying to do positive, helpful things for yourself to heal. For you. You have to work on yourself. You have to, no matter how painful it is. I know you feel down and out, lonely, helpless. You feel like your feelings are in this like vacuum. And there's nothing but loneliness and pain and just complete disconnection from the world. But you are the only one that can pull you out. You have to be the initial one to lift you up. You can only ever work on your own demons. Don't worry about other people's demons. Work on your own demons. And find positive ways of self-healing. And I highly recommend art therapy. If you find a great art therapist, put the expense aside. It can be expensive, but it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Love yourself and heal yourself first. And I just want to drive home that healing is out there. Healing is possible. Love is possible. And I know my vlogs are deep. They're sentimental. They're emotional. And I used to self-criticize about being that way, but I don't anymore because it's so important to be open and vulnerable and raw. Because good or bad, you don't want to shove your feelings down, which is something I've been doing my entire life until recently. You don't want to hold those feelings in, whether they're good or bad. It's not healthy. So be open, be, emotional, be raw. Open up to people. And that's not to say let yourself get hurt. No, don't do that. Be smart. Don't open up to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. But be raw. Be vulnerable. Dare to be vulnerable, because it's so healing and it's so good and it's so right. And our society looks down on that and poo-poos that and judges that. But it's why? It's good. It's healthy. Open your heart. Open your heart chakra and your crown chakra. Actually, all the chakras should be in alignment. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable or emotional or deep. Our world needs it right now. Our world needs for everyone to open up and go deep. I think people will connect way better on a deeper soul level, and the world can begin to heal. Not just you, but the world. All right, I think I've said quite a lot for today. I wish you all the very best. And please don't forget to check out my lovely wife and our YouTube channel called Angie and Haley Present, where we talk about love and how love is possible. All right. Peace and love. Talk to you later. Bye.